Good afternoon and welcome back for another episode of Off the Post inside the NOSL. Flying solo today, my name is Jonathan Langdon. Thank you so much for joining us, and we're going to go ahead and dive right into things because a lot of game action over the last weekend, and we've got more coming up this coming weekend as well, and we're going to break it all down, including standings and also Stimulus Cup as well. Let's go ahead and start with the aforementioned Stimulus Cup. The second round of action took place Tuesday and Wednesday, and we have three finals, a fourth that was postponed. So let's break those down. Amish Country United took on Ambassadors FC Ohio. They ended up losing 7-0, Ambassadors FC Ohio, to the semifinals for the Stimulus Cup in a couple of weeks. Stark County United joins them. Those two will play against each other after Stark County United took down Worcester FC 4-1. And then on the other side of the bracket, Delaware Rising got a late goal to win 1-0 against Inter Columbus on the road, and they will take on the winner of Mansfield Liederkranz and Panthers FC, a game that was postponed, was supposed to be played on Wednesday, but it will now be played next week, and we'll have that breakdown for you once that game is finally played. Let's go ahead and start breaking down the weekend with the women's division last week. Susserfus Balveren had their first game of the year postponed against Mansfield Liederkranz. That was supposed to be the first game of the women's division this entire season, but now they finally got to play last weekend against Panthers FC, and they ended up winning 2-0, leaving Panthers scoreless, a team that was on an offensive run in their first couple games of the year. So Susserfus able to come in and get those first 3 points, and then however they would have a turnaround the very next day. They would lose to Ohio City SC by a final score of 2-3. Staying in the women's division, Delaware Rising won 4-1 against Mansfield Liederkranz. They were able to get that win to get themselves back into winning ways, and that takes us to the standings for the women's division. So it's a tie at the top on points. Panthers FC and Ohio City both with 6. Panthers, of course, with that extra game being a loss, although they do have first place on goal differential right now over Ohio City. And you've also got a tie for second place, Susserfus Balveren and Delaware Rising, both with 3 points. Susserfus have the advantage on goal differential, and then Mansfield Liederkranz still looking for their first win of the year in 2 tries. Let's take it now to the men's division, where Pali United took down Mansfield Liederkranz 10-5. That is a big result for them. They needed to start slimming down that goal differential, losing big to Ohio City FC, SC earlier. What if I told you, though, Pali United wasn't the only team to score 10 goals last weekend? Ambassadors FC Ohio, we talked about them earlier, winning 7-0 in their cup game. They win 10-0 against their soon-to-be Stimulus Cup semifinal opponent, Stark County United. That is 2 weeks in a row that we see the Ambassador attack explode, and if you count the Stimulus Cup game, that's technically 3 weeks in a row, because if you recall, Ashland United went in to play Ambassadors FC Ohio, and they ended up losing 5-0. Ambassadors FC, their offense has been clicking as of late, and it did not stop against Stark County, and don't expect it to stop going into this weekend with their next opponent. We'll talk about that later. Another Stimulus Cup matchup we talked about earlier was Inter Columbus and Delaware Rising. That game, of course, ended 1-0 in the Cup, but last weekend they also played in a league game where the Delaware Rising was able to still take a 1-goal win, this one being 2-1. Speaking of Columbus teams, Greater Columbus FC, they tie 1-1 with Mahoning Trumbull United. That's Trumbull's 3rd tie of the season. And finally, let's talk about Ohio City SC. They win 4-0 against Ashland United. Big result for them. They have 12 points on the table. We'll look at the standings in a moment, but they are the only team remaining that has won every single game to this point. They are one of 2 teams to remain unbeaten, along with Delaware Rising. So now we look at the men's first division standings, and as we mentioned, Ohio City SC sit 5 points to the top with 4 wins under their belt. Ambassadors FC Ohio right behind them, though, tied up with Delaware Rising with 7 points. Mansfield Liederkranz and Pali United sit at 6 points. Big jump there for Pali United after their big win. Ashland United still with 4 points, along with Stark County United and Greater Columbus. And then Mahoning Trumbull United, we talked about it, 3 draws, and they sit second to last in the table. They'll need to start getting 3 points out of their games to try and make themselves a middle table team, but scary territory for them, along with Inter Columbus, who are 0 for 4 so far on NOSL games. Also had 3 men's second division games last weekend. Amish Country United not able to get the win against Sisterfoos Balveren. Sisterfoos wins 1-0 there. Worcester FC and Twinsburg United play a 0-0 draw. And then Panthers FC with the 3-0 win over Mansfield Liederkranz's second team. So just a combined 4 goals in those 3 games, but expect the scoring to kick up in the second division as the season draws closer to an end and promotion starts to come to mind for a bunch of these teams. So finally now look at the standings for the men's second division. Worcester FC sit at the top, tied along with Twinsburg United. The season is still early though in the second division because Panthers FC, Ohio City SC 2, and Sisterfoos Balveren all are tied with 3 points, and Amish Country United and Mansfield Liederkranz still waiting for that first win on the year. Now let's look forward to match weekend number 5, starting with Poly United. They hit the road to play Stark County United on Saturday at 1. Then a pair of Columbus games with Ambassadors FC Ohio traveling to play Inter Columbus at 2 o'clock on Saturday. Then at 3, Ohio City SC, they will play at Greater Columbus for a championship rematch. And then on Sunday for the first division at 2 o'clock, Mahoning Trumbull United, they look for a result against Mansfield Liederkranz on the road. And Ashland United, they play host yet again, this time to Delaware Rising. That is Sunday at 3 o'clock. For the men's second division, Sisterfoos Balveren will travel to Panthers FC on Saturday at 11 a.m. Sunday at 12 p.m., Twinsburg United plays the second team for Mansfield Liederkranz, and then at 1 on Sunday, Ohio City's second team will play at Worcester FC. And finally, in the women's division on Saturday at 4:30, Mansfield Liederkranz will play at Ohio City SC. And on Sunday at 5:30, Delaware Rising will play at Panthers FC at Crestview High School. That will do it for Inside the NOSL. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We'll be back next week to break down these games and see how things shake up after match week number 5. Have a good rest of your day.